Encounter number 1, sent in by Frankenstein. This was found on the Lansing Kill River at the edge of the Adirondack Mountains. I enjoy your videos. Thanks for posting. I hope you get some footage of Sabe. I would love to see what howled at me and my son on that river bank long ago. Please do not use my email in any video. Thanks. You can use the pictures and location of the structure if you want. And as for the roars that was on the river south of the structure was called the Fish Creek that feeds Wanda Lake in New York. I've never heard of anyone else seeing or hearing the roars or Sabe in that area. But country folk don't talk much about these things in upstate New York. They don't want the downstate city folk to swarm the area. So I got to apologize. Frankenstein, if you're still watching this channel, I forget if you sent me the encounter of you and your son, I think it was, getting yelled at by the river. This is way back in January 26, 2022 when Frankenstein sent me this. If there's another part to this, I kind of recall that there was a more of a story about the yelling and stuff on the river. So Frankenstein, if you're still out there watching this channel, you're more than welcome to send that back in. But all I have on this first encounter is these 2 photos, which is some sort of structure at the bottom of a waterfall. These kind of structures I see quite often, mainly around sacred, like First Nations lands and waterfalls and stuff that they consider sacred. This could be one of those. This could be Sasquatch. I don't really know. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Encounter number 2. Raymond Ither. I have not been back to Twin One Creek since May 2019. More as a result of not having the time or ability to get out that way. I currently live in Surrey and I'm raising 2 small children full time with no one to watch them. I won't take them out there again, not after being made aware of what potentially could be out there. I have been to Golden Ears Park and Davis Lake with my friend Mark and Brian Bland, who is a good friend of Sasquatch Randy Brisson. We have been out to Mike Lake and the trails in that area where I took a very interesting photo. I cannot confirm anything about it other than I took the picture. It appears to show a dark, shadowy figure in the distance. I had taken quite a few photos that day, and I didn't notice the shadow until recently. I was renaming a large collection of photos on my laptop in late March when I came across it. I have added the photo to this email for your consideration. And again, I say, I don't know what this is in the photo. Mark claims it's a Sasquatch, and his friends, who are mediums, claim to know this being's name and intention, something I am struggling to accept. To this day, I still claim to have never had an encounter, as I never seen anything conclusive. I am a believer for certain. That being said, I need to see to be sure. I have sent Steve, meaning Steve Isdahl, an email, but it got lost in the stack he must get daily. I am good with that, as I don't really require any attention. I won't be able to meet up with you at this time because of my personal responsibilities, but thank you for the invite. Looking forward to seeing the documentary. Okay, I do recall this. So I have a really good story from Raymond, but I'm not sharing that in this video. It's the Twin One Creek story. which I'm actually going to be going on site to the location at Twin One Creek, and we are going to attempt to get up in the forest there, and we're going to do a few day camp out. That is still in the works. Unfortunately, with my channel being demolished there over Christmas and into the new year, everything that I had planned has been put on the back burner. So I will get to all these, and actually the first documentary that I made out at Uri Creek, that documentary is now gone. When I deleted half my channel's videos, that one got deleted and we didn't get it saved, so that video is now gone forever. So that kind of sucks. Me and my buddy Andrew Garrett put a lot of work and time into that documentary, and I actually really like that documentary, but I'm not sure if it's gone now. So anyway, we'll make another one. But yeah, Raymond has a really awesome encounter from Twin. It's kind of an encounter. He was on a hike out there, and he actually got trapped in the forest overnight, and some really strange things started happening to him. We'll get to that in another video. Thanks again, Raymond. And again with this photo, pretty interesting photo, but I do recall Raymond mentioning something that he sent me a photo just to test out to see like how gullible I am. This may be that photo. I'll talk to Randy and clarify this Brian Bland and Mark and all this stuff. So thanks for sharing, Raymond, but I gotta say, I have no idea about this picture. Could be real, could be fake. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Encounter number 3, sent in by Ron and Kelly Martin. This one has all kinds of information. We have the location. Cabin on a small lake just outside Lady Evelyn Smoothwater Park, Ontario, Canada. So Ron and Kelly Martin send this in to me, but the actual witness to this Sasquatch encounter is Mr. and Mrs. D. Hebert. Date April 15th, 2009. Time 2:39 p.m. At approximately 2:39 in the afternoon, Mrs. Hebert was opening the blinds in the back bedroom of the cabin and noticed a very large, hairy, upright creature on top of the hill about 50 to 70 yards away. She informed Mr. Hebert, who grabbed the digital camera and went outside to take a picture of it. While walking around the back corner of the cabin, powering up his camera, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed it had seen him and froze. He had to delete several pictures from his SD card in order to be able to take any pictures. Mr. Hebert managed to take 2 pictures, and while looking down at the camera, it disappeared, only to reappear 15 minutes later at the wood pile. It was peeking at him from the tree line beside the path. It was approximately 10 plus feet tall and very massive. The creature roughly estimated to be twice the size of the witness. 3 pictures were taken in all. The pictures were taken from the back of the cottage, looking up at the hill from the top of the propane tank cabinet. This thing stood perfectly still for what seemed like 5 minutes. I turned my head for a split second and it was gone. In the following weeks, the screens were pushed in and torn off some of the windows at the cabin. The encounter was reported to MNR and OPP in New Liskeard on April 28, 2009. 3 digitally transferred pictures were left with the officers, as were 1-page written report on the incident and the witness's phone number. The officers they spoke with found it hard to believe they were reporting this and asked, "Are you serious about this?" and laughed. A game warden and several MNR biologists with attended the cabin and stayed for several days, investigating and taking pictures of the area. They stayed on after the witness left. In 2010, witnesses sell cabin. Witness's wife no longer comfortable and afraid to go there. They believe the cabin has since been torn down. Previously, in summer 2004, they were awoken at 2 a.m. by what seemed like a deep, penetrating ground thuds, like picking up a huge boulder and pounding it on the ground, and it shook the entire landscape. It went on for about 20 minutes and was very random, maybe 10 or 15 hits to the ground. It was very singular and a deep, like seismic thumper truck. The last hit to the ground was followed by the sound of big trees cracking about 150 yards out. The witnesses made coffee and they stayed up until dawn that night. In 2006, after lending a local friend and 3 others the cabin for hunting season, they reported 2 black or dark blue helicopters flying low and circling for several days and nights in the area. It was definitely not game people doing rabies cube drops. This would have been done fall 2006. It is assumed they were looking for what someone or something, and that as also the first year in many that no one received a moose tag to his knowledge. In 2007, there were 3 large boulders put on the road at the bottom of the hill as you come into the top of the lake. It looked like they were rolling down the hill or placed there. 2 of them came up to the door of our truck. One was the height of the bumper, and the other one of them was still there in 2010 because people began to drive around it. Ontario Wildlife Field Research, Ontario Bigfoot, has many ongoing investigations in this area. This area is very rich with reports and incidents with this unknown creature, as well as many historical reports from other investigative groups and the local media. In our opinion, these witnesses, Mr. and Mrs. Hebert, are very honest and forthcoming with answers to many questions. We do appreciate the valuable information and knowledge we have gained by hearing their story. Courtesy of Ontario Wildlife Field Research, Ontario Bigfoot. Thanks for that encounter, and thank you, Ron and Kelly Martin, for sharing this to the channel. It's a really cool encounter, well documented in out of Ontario. Brings a couple things up to me, the whole where the Sasquatch froze itself. That actually happened with my first visual encounter. The Sasquatch that I seen, when I looked at it, it kind of like froze and it just stayed perfectly still, as if maybe thinking that I might not notice it or something, but I clearly seen it, and it just kind of stiffened up and stayed still until I passed by. And something else, the helicopters, black helicopters, who really knows? Could have been a special ops team to go in and take the Sasquatch out, maybe get it out of that area, or it could just be 100 other things that people do in helicopters. Not really sure, but really great photos to this one, and let me know what you guys think about this encounter in the comments. That is it. That's all we're going to fit on this video, is just 3 encounters. We have more to come, lots more encounters. I have emails too. So this encounter here is a prime example why to never, I repeat, why to never report your encounter to the authorities, meaning the OPP in Ontario, the RCMP throughout the rest of the country or state or wherever you are. Do not report your encounters to these groups. MNR, if you guys are wondering what the MNR is the Ministry of Northern Development of Mines, Natural Resources, and Forestry. It's a government ministry of the Canadian province of Ontario that is responsible for Ontario's provincial parks, forest, fisheries, wildlife, mineral, and crown land in the waters that make up 87% of the province of Ontario. If you don't remember, in the encounter, they mentioned nobody was issued a moose tag in that region for that whole year, possibly 2 years. So if you report to these organizations, they're going to shut that forest down. You won't be allowed to go in there. I realize that encounters can be scary and stuff. People get scared. I've had multiple encounters. Yes, it's terrifying. But do not, I repeat, do not report to these authorities. If you want to share your encounter, there's people like Steve Isdahl, for instance. Share with him. You can share your encounter with me. We are not organizations. We have some so-called Sasquatch researchers here in British Columbia, and there's Sasquatch researchers all over North America. A lot of these researchers, people don't realize this, they report to government. They report these encounters, they report the locations, the times, everything. That's why they want it such a detailed encounter, because they report it in, and then that's when the helicopters start flying overhead, the black helicopters. So just remember that, folks, and you can share your story with me. Email it at livingwithsasquatch@gmail.com. Obviously, I'm not going to get the views that Steve Isdahl does, but I'm trying to grow this channel, and look out, Steve, I'm coming for you. But yeah, just remember that, and cheers for now.